Imagine a legendary name from the golden age of American cars roaring back to life in 2026. That's right, the Chevrolet Bel Air has returned, and it's not just a trip down memory lane. On the outside, it channels pure retro charm, but under the hood, it's packing the kind of modern performance and technology you'd expect from today's top contenders. Some say it's the boldest comeback in Chevy's history, while others wonder if it can really stand up to modern rivals. So, is this the perfect blend of classic style and cutting-edge power? Or just nostalgia dressed in chrome? Let's find out. The Chevrolet Bel Air isn't just another car launch. It's the revival of one of the most iconic nameplates in American automotive history. First introduced in the 1950s, the Bel Air became a symbol of style, cruising culture, and everyday performance that defined a generation. Now, in 2026, Chevrolet is bringing it back, not as a retro showpiece, but as a fully modern car designed to compete in today's fast-paced market. What makes this launch so interesting is how Chevy is walking a fine line. On one hand, the Bel Air has to capture the nostalgic soul of the classic, something that appeals to enthusiasts who grew up idolizing the original. On the other hand, it needs to deliver the kind of technology, safety, and efficiency that today's buyers demand. That balance isn't easy, and it raises a big question. Can a retro-inspired comeback car truly satisfy both worlds? This return isn't just about styling, it's about positioning. Chevrolet wants the new Bel Air to speak to multiple audiences, the lifelong fans who want to relive an era, and the younger drivers who expect performance, practicality, and smart features in their daily ride. That makes it one of the most daring moves Chevy has attempted in recent years. And in just a moment, we'll break down its design, interior, performance, and pricing to see if this comeback lives up to the hype, or if the legend should have stayed in the past. Now that the stage is set, let's dive into what makes the 2026 Chevrolet Bel Air such a fascinating comeback story. At first glance, the exterior grabs your attention instantly. Wide chrome accents, a bold front grille, and those unmistakable retro-inspired lines give it that vintage presence, yet the proportions and detailing are unmistakably modern. LED headlights with a throwback twist, flush door handles, and muscular fender curves all signal that this isn't just nostalgia. It's nostalgia refined for today's streets. Step inside, and the story continues. Chevrolet has clearly aimed to blend the soul of the past with the comfort of the present. The cabin mixes classic two-tone patterns and chrome trim with massive digital displays, wireless connectivity, and a driver-focused cockpit. You've got wide, supportive seats that nod to the lounge-like cruisers of old, but with heating, cooling, and even massage functions that take them well into the future. The balance of retro charm and modern luxury feels deliberate, and it works. Of course, design is only half the equation. Performance is where the Bel Air really makes a statement. Buyers can choose between a turbocharged four-cylinder tuned for efficiency, a muscular V6 that echoes the car's golden era roots. And here's the kicker, an available hybrid setup that combines classic driving feel with modern-day economy. The top-end model pushes well over 400 horsepower, which means this isn't just a pretty face. It's built to perform. Acceleration is quick, steering feels precise, and there's enough suspension tuning to make it comfortable for daily driving while still lively on the highway. But it's not flawless. That wide stance that makes it look so bold, it can make tight city parking a challenge. And while the interior is beautifully designed, some may find the rear seats a little snug compared to rivals in the same price bracket. Still, these trade-offs might be worth it for drivers who value character over cookie-cutter practicality. Chevy has also packed in modern safety tech, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking, and even semi-autonomous driving features. It's the kind of package that makes the Bel Air not just a style piece, but a true contender in today's market. Here's the real cliffhanger, though. All of this comes at a price point that might surprise you. In just a moment, we'll weigh those numbers against what you're really getting, and whether the Bel Air offers genuine value, or if it's relying too heavily on its iconic badge to justify the cost. And this is where the 2026 Chevrolet Bel Air truly reveals its hand. On paper, the numbers sounded impressive, but in real-world driving, the experience is even more surprising. Press the accelerator, And the top-spec Bel Air doesn't just move. It surges forward with the kind of urgency you'd expect from a modern muscle car. That 400-plus horsepower isn't just for bragging rights. It translates into a 0 to 60 sprint that comfortably undercuts some of its closest rivals. For a car wearing such a nostalgic badge, it feels shockingly modern behind the wheel. But it's not just raw speed. The steering is sharp and responsive, and the suspension manages to strike that sweet spot. Firm enough to keep the car planted in corners, yet soft enough that long highway stretches feel almost effortless. It's here where the Bel Air proves it's more than just a retro tribute. It's a driver's car, built to handle both daily commutes and spirited weekend drives. Yet the surprises don't stop there. In our efficiency test, the hybrid variant delivered better mileage than expected, putting it in direct competition with more mainstream sedans and crossovers. It's a rare case of a nostalgic revival actually working in the real world, not just in glossy promo shots. Of course, no car is perfect. The size can feel bulky in tight urban settings, and the rear seat compromises remain noticeable. But when you're behind the wheel, those drawbacks fade into the background, replaced by a grin-inducing drive that feels both familiar and refreshingly new. So, is the 2026 Chevrolet Bel Air a gimmick wrapped in chrome? Or has Chevrolet genuinely pulled off one of the boldest comebacks in recent years? Let's bring it all together in the final verdict. So, after spending time with the 2026 Chevrolet Bel Air, it's clear this isn't just another nostalgia play. Chevy could have easily slapped a retro badge on a standard platform and called it a day, but they didn't. Instead, they built a car that blends throwback charm with modern performance and technology in a way that actually works in today's market. The pros are easy to see: striking retro-inspired design, a surprisingly refined and comfortable interior, strong performance options, including that hybrid system, and safety tech that makes it feel like a car of the future rather than a relic of the past. On the flip side, the wide body and tight rear seats may not suit everyone, and parking in crowded cities won't be its strong suit. But if you're willing to trade a little practicality for personality, those drawbacks don't feel like deal breakers. So who is the new Bel Air really for? If you're an enthusiast who remembers the glory days of American cruisers, this car gives you a chance to relive that era without sacrificing modern conveniences. If you're a younger driver looking for something unique that stands out from the endless sea of crossovers, the Bel Air offers character, style, and driving excitement you won't find elsewhere. In the bigger picture, the return of the Bel Air signals something important. Automakers are starting to realize that blending heritage with innovation might be the formula buyers are craving. It's not just about building efficient cars. It's about building cars with soul, cars that connect generations. So, is the 2026 Chevrolet Bel Air perfect? No. But is it one of the boldest and most exciting revivals we've seen in recent years? Absolutely. Now the real question is, would you put the Bel Air in your driveway? Or do you think Chevy leaned too hard on nostalgia? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the cars shaping tomorrow's roads.